Hello and welcome. We're checking out the ButtKicker Gamer PLUS in this video. I've been enjoying this setup for a little while and now it's time for my review. There's an unboxing and first impressions video already posted on the channel. I've dropped links in the description, so be sure to check those out too. If you're not familiar with this type of product, here's a quick introduction. The ButtKicker Gamer PLUS is a turnkey bass shaker solution and includes everything you need to get up and running. A bass shaker, or the technical name is a tactile transducer, is like a speaker as it's activated by audio signals, but also not quite like a speaker. Instead of outputting sound, it outputs vibrations that you feel through your seat, adding a tactile element of immersion to your gaming experiences or movie watching. I have mine attached to a post on the rear of my motion seat mover, and my review is focusing on using the ButtKicker Gamer PLUS for racing games. And it's not exclusive for this purpose, but certainly a common use for this type of device. And regardless of your intended purpose, hopefully you'll learn a fair bit about this hardware here, even if racing games is not what you're planning to use with it. On my table are all the parts included in this kit. If this looks all complicated with all that tangle of cables, just imagine this as an amplifier and a speaker setup, which it kind of is, then you'll realise there's nothing really complex here. The amp is 90 watts. The amp itself is essentially a regular speaker amp with features you will find on other amps, such as volume and frequency controls. So there's nothing unusual here that you haven't seen before. At the rear we have standard sockets for the audio in and outputs. Note this is a mono amp, not stereo. Also there's a USB socket. When we plug this into a PC, Windows will recognise this as a separate sound card. This is important and we'll cover that a bit later. Also included is a remote control for the amp. It requires line of sight as it uses an IR sensor like a TV remote control. And here's the ButtKicker unit. Inside that aluminium casing is a 7-ounce weight. The amp fires signals through to the ButtKicker, moving that weight to produce the vibrations. There's a sturdy built-in clamp and also mounting holes in the frame, giving you options for mounting the ButtKicker. With the cable that connects the ButtKicker to the amp attached, you have a total of 13.5 feet to play with. The most basic setup to send audio through to the amp is using the RCA to mini 3.5mm cable. Insert the 3.5mm plug into your sound output source and you're ready to get going. Also included is a handy audio splitter cable. As before, the 3.5mm end goes into your sound output, but now we also get an additional socket to send audio through to a second source along with the ButtKicker amp, so either speakers or headphones. If you're like me and planning to use the ButtKicker with a PC, then you can just ignore the last 45 seconds. All you need is the included USB cable. There's one final component I need to show you, and that's the HaptiConnect software for Windows. Included with the ButtKicker Gamer PLUS is the standard license version. For an additional fee, that can be upgraded to the Ultimate Edition that unlocks all current and future game plugins. HaptiConnect supports a number of racing games and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Many racing titles output telemetry that HaptiConnect and similar software can read, the telemetry being effects from the game. So instead of simply piping through the raw PC game audio that you hear from your speakers through to the ButtKicker, instead we can use specific effects and bypass the game audio completely. The difference it makes is enormous. It's miles more effective and realistic over just running the game audio through to the ButtKicker, where the vibrations will be active on every sound that's passed through, which can end up being just a mash of indistinct vibrations and lacking impact. With HaptiConnect, we can use actual effects connected to the dynamics of the car, essentially force feedback vibrations. And we can tune the intensity of individual effects by simply moving the sliders. If we want stronger feeling bumps, for example, through the seats, then increase that element in HaptiConnect. Or if an effect seems overpowering, you can selectively turn that down or disable it. Along with adjusting the volume on the amp, you can finally tune your entire experience. Let's circle back to my table briefly to demonstrate the mounting options. As it is an important feature of using a butt kicker or any type of bass shaker, it needs to be hard mounted. The integrated clamp makes light work of mounting to anything with a round or square profile. The clamp can open up enough to accommodate even 40/40 aluminium profile. That's really good. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that feature. The other option is using the mounting holes. In use, it's not as loud as that demonstration on my table, so don't worry, it's not that crazy. That was just an extreme test, running the amp at full volume and pumping through various frequencies. I thought you'd find that interesting at least. That's not to say the butt kicker is silent, the loudness is relative to the strength of the effects. You won't observe the butt kicker shaking on camera constantly here, but I can tell you it's always active. There's vibrations coming through continuously, even if you don't see it moving. I have my microphone set up 30 centimeters away from the butt kicker, and this is what it sounds like, along with the speakers running in the background. Now this is how the butt kicker sounds with no background game audio. If you've never used a butt kicker or something similar, the way I would describe the experience to compare to is the next time you're driving on the road or as a passenger, spare some attention to the sensation that you're feeling through the car seat, the ambient hum of the car engine and texture of the road, all those vibrations and bumps that you feel. Basically, that's what you're going to feel through your seat when you're using the butt kicker. It's a bizarrely realistic sensation, believe it or not. And as you can imagine, this enhances the racing experience. I particularly like the strong sensation from the racing strips. When the tyres connect with the ribbed texture of the curbs, this added layer of physical immersion really puts you in the car. The ButtKicker Gamer PLUS is pumping out a good amount of energy, so much so I can feel some of the vibrations coming through my pedal deck. Some people pimp out their sim rigs with multiple bass shakers to enhance this further, and you're possibly wondering if just this single Gamer Plus is going to be enough for you. It's doing plenty for me. The vibrations are strong and vibrant, and the ButtKicker is able to reproduce the layered effects coming from the game. So I'm happy to tell you this setup is very capable, and something to bear in mind is if you do plan to add more bass shakers, that also means increasing noise output. So you do need to think about that and take that into consideration before going full tilt with a multi-bass shaker setup. The game on screen now is Automobilista 2. HaptiConnect is doing a fine job here. I found the software is easy to tune. I found I did need to adjust some of the sliders, reducing the road texture and gear shift effects down a bit. They were aggressive, and I found I was getting some clipping issues of those until I fixed that in the software. I also disabled the bottom 3 effects, as I wasn't keen on those. Sometimes too many effects going on can wash out other effects, so you'll want to experiment with these. You'll find a balance that works for you. I do like the user-friendly approach of the software. New users will have no problem getting up and running quickly. Things were going well until I booted into ACC. Here, HaptiConnect is struggling to convert those effects. Things just felt a bit off compared to AMS2. It was lacking in the same sort of depth and detail. The main problem, though, I discovered was riding curbs. It was completely inconsistent. Some curbs produced vibrations and others none at all, or simply outputting a blip. It was really kind of bad and weird. So I ditched HaptiConnect and started using SimHub in ACC, and it was a completely different experience. It was spot on, the effects were precise, lots of depth and realistic, completely different to the poor show displayed by HaptiConnect. And I do fear if your first experience with your brand spanking new ButtKicker Gamer Plus is ACC and using HaptiConnect, it is going to be disappointing. HaptiConnect does receive regular updates in the time I've been using it, which is testing about over a 2-week period. There has been 1 or 2 updates already, so it does show you that they are active and improving the software over time. So yes, things in the future can improve, but for the time being, well, at the time of making this video, of course, SimHub is the way forward for ACC. I then took the opportunity to swing back into AMS2 with SimHub, and again SimHub proved to be superior. HaptiConnect does well with AMS2, but SimHub is better. The effects have more body and detail. It's quite noticeable. SimHub has very sophisticated tuning controls. There's also a steep learning curve to go with it. Many options and more complex tuning features, kind of overwhelming to begin with, but worth it in the long run. If you're new to all this, I would say start off with HaptiConnect. It's already included with your Gamer Plus purchase, and you'll be eager to get it out of the box and up and running. Go with HaptiConnect just for the simplicity of getting set up. But after that, I would recommend you migrate over to SimHub later on. You'll get more out of your ButtKicker Gamer Plus with SimHub than you will with HaptiConnect. In rFactor 2 now, and again with SimHub, I had no choice in the matter. HaptiConnect wasn't able to find the rFactor 2 game folder. I have rFactor 2 installed on a drive that's not my main boot disk, and I think that was the problem. It's looking for the install folder on the C drive. To correct this, there ought to be a manual option in HaptiConnect to redirect it to find that folder directory. With SimHub, the Gamer Plus is doing just a fine job, as I've come to expect. And you probably have noticed already, I've been running the same track in 3 different racing games. I thought it would be interesting to see if there was any differences between the effects they produce. And I found it to be pretty consistent across the board with SimHub, so that's the answer. Before you abandon HaptiConnect, there is one feature you will still want the software installed for, and that's the virtual audio splitter. For games including many of the racing games out there that don't output these telemetry effects, you can send game audio directly through to the ButtKicker. The virtual audio splitter is needed for this, as Windows by default only addresses a single sound output. So the virtual audio splitter enables us to work with both the sound card in the ButtKicker amp and also the other sound card that my speakers run off. For this example, we're in Wreckfest, a game that's packed with crashes and smashes. We're getting plenty of vibrations through, but I can tell you right away it's not the same. The weighting of the vibrations is clearly down to whatever sounds are being presented. This is where the low filter cutoff and the high cutoff frequency controls on the amp are essential, as these enable you to narrow the band of frequencies to focus on the bassiest sounding elements. It works okay, but it is a noticeable downgrade from the Simracing games that we've seen so far. It doesn't reproduce the same impactful elements and detail as the other games are able to do. Nevertheless, it still means we can use the ButtKicker with any game regardless. Shooting games and action movies would also be ideal. Just fire up your ButtKicker and you can still enjoy tactile immersion whenever you like. If you're seeking the perfect immersive upgrade for Simracing, look no further. Base shakers are a fantastic addition to a Simracing setup. It's an enhancement that won't fail to impress, and you really miss being surrounded by those haptics when it's absent after using the Gamer Plus. ButtKicker makes the job of adding a base shaker very easy. It's a complete out-of-the-box solution. All the necessary hardware and cables are taken care of. Mounting a base shaker can also prove to be a tricky job to do, and with its solid versatile clamp and frame mounting holes, turns that into a painless exercise. And to finish off the package, we get the HaptiConnect software. HaptiConnect is a weak link in what is an otherwise strong product offering. You can bypass HaptiConnect completely and run SimHub instead. Nevertheless, it's good that ButtKicker has brought out their own haptic software, and hopefully the software improves with future updates. As I said, this is a complete solution. It's everything you need, the hardware and the software, to get you started, and it's really easy to do too. ButtKicker has done a really good job with the Gamer Plus. It's neat and tidy with well thought out design elements and packs a decent punch. Basically, everything you need to enjoy haptic effects for your chair comes with the ButtKicker Gamer Plus. I churn for a lot of hardware on the channel, guys, and the best stuff I'm enjoying stays planted on the rig. That's my litmus test, that's how it works. And I do intend to continue using this ButtKicker Gamer Plus, so you can take that as a recommendation. Okay then, we're going to end it now. I hope you found this one useful, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. It's always good to review hardware I'm having fun with, so that was an easy one to do. And that's it, I'm done here, and I'll move on to another project, maybe another review, who knows. So do stay tuned. I'll be back soon with something new. So until next time, happy simming, and bye bye.